So YMS, or Your Movie Sucks, has landed in a bit of hot water for his past controversial opinions. YMS, if you didn't know, reviews movies on his YouTube channel. Just to make clear, I am pretty biased as I like YMS and I've liked his channel for years. I would definitely give him the benefit of the doubt. He said some stupid things, he has some weird, obnoxious opinions, but I don't think he's a malicious actor. Spoiler alert, it wasn't YMS's opinions on movies that got him in trouble. It was his opinions on stuff like Bestiality and CP. A lot of this controversy is quite old at this point, but it's resurfaced as people made videos like this channel Rob's Media. So much so that YMS actually responded, and that's mostly what I want to talk about. YMS is mostly apolitical, especially when it comes to his movie reviews, but it becomes pretty clear when you see him palling around with people like iDubbbz, Destiny, Vosh, and him exclusively bashing political figures on the right like Ben Shapiro. It's patently clear that he's left-leaning. I only point out his left-wing ideology because it's always the left, isn't it? Every time someone's exposed for their weird bestiality or drawn CP take, it's always the left.
But it's me, Matt Binder, a Canadian YouTuber, Greg, and fucking Vosh, and like 2 other streamers. But I didn't know streamers were so fucking weird. Like, these people were debating for hours about which Pokemon they would fuck.
Except, it seems to me that it isn't streamers, it's left-wing streamers who are weird. Whether it's Vosh getting caught with animal porn or drawn CP, or Destiny, who was recently exposed for sending sexual images to a minor, or Matt Binder, who loves cuties and wants his daughter to be in the film. Why is it leftists that are disproportionately degenerate losers? Let's go over some of the evidence from Rob's Media before jumping into YMS's response.
I can't even get a boner without thinking of half animal, half human cartoon. That's pretty fucking weird on its own, so, I mean...
is this a joke, or are you...
It's not a joke.
In 2022, Adam would show off his persona, a feminine horse.
I think the furry stuff is sort of redundant. If that's the only thing you're doing, I think it's weird, but I don't really care. It's more him being a furry, bundled with all the other strange stuff he had to say, that paints a disquieting picture. To all the people out there who think that illustrated and/or fictional porn depicting illegal activities should be illegal, why do you not apply the same logic to films and literature depicting acts of murder? I don't see how it's any different from an ethical standpoint. To me, this is a very specious gotcha. For this to hold any water, you'd have to claim that people going to see Indiana Jones are there to see people dying. They're there for the story, the shock value, whatever it may be, but it's not because they're attracted to murder. Even if you steelman this argument with the worst movies like Saw and Hostel, where innocent people are tortured, the point of those movies is to take advantage of people's dislike for murder in order to shock them. They're hard to watch because we don't like people getting tortured. Despite whatever Vosh might tell you, in the case of CP, for example, it's not because of the art style or the shock value that people consume that media. It's because they're attracted to minors, and that's why it's problematic. Who watches CP that isn't attracted to minors? That's my question. If you're not attracted to minors, then just watch normal porn. It seems pretty simple to me. One of the closest parallels you might come up with is that game Hatred, where you're a psychopath who kills innocent people on a rampage. People did call for this to be banned, and Steam did remove it from their store page for a while. But I don't think it should be banned, because you'd have to convince me that the people who play this do it because they actually like murder. Like any game, it's the game mechanics and the goals that are the fun part. When I'm playing Pin the Tail on the Donkey, it's not because I like pinning tails on donkeys, it's because I want to win. I want to achieve the goal.
Should animated child porn be legal? Yes, it should be. You shouldn't be able to go to jail for drawing something, even if it's, like, disgusting and people don't agree with it.
Yeah, that's like
Like, you can just not look at it if you don't like it. There's no victim to drawing something.
Yeah, I love it when people think that like an actual baby's been harmed by drawing one. It's like,
If you filmed a child naked without them knowing and they'd never find out, no one would ever find out, does that make it okay? No, it's not okay. It's not okay to sexualize children, full stop. This is a whole argument on deontological ethics, which we don't have to get into to debunk this stupid logic.
Vegans are pretty much the only people that are actually at liberty to say that having sex with animals is wrong. Everybody else is a fucking hypocrite.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Wait, what? Animal lives are less than human lives, but that doesn't mean they're nothing. Humans need to eat, and the foods that contain the most protein and least starch and sugar are animal-based. If you gave me the exact same food without the need to kill animals or hurt animals, I would gladly choose them over animal-based products. In fact, I tried to give up meat and ended up with brain fog and constant tiredness. It sucks, but some basic needs need to be met for humans at the cost of some animal lives or suffering. The lines are murky here, but we draw the line typically when you're harming animals without good reason, whether for entertainment or sexual pleasure. That's why, for example, I'd be against the corridas de toros in Spain. Harming an animal solely for entertainment or traditional purposes isn't justifiable in my opinion.
Like, you can't say like, oh, sucking a dog's dick is wrong, but like eating an animal isn't. You can't say like, oh, we should chain up baby cows to a pole and restrict them from movement while, you know, just while they get fat so we can have a really succulently tasting baby cow.
Except you can. We're trying to meet that basic human need while still being as humane as possible. Like in California, they added to their health code in 2008 that animals shouldn't be confined in a way that prevents lying down, standing up, or fully extending their limbs or turning around freely. We care about the animals, but we prioritize basic human needs like needing to eat.
Do all these like non-consensual things, and then like you support that, but somebody sucking an animal's dick or like just touching a horse dong, that's wrong.
Avoiding animal products can affect your health. In fact, kids have died from it from their stupid vegan parents. There can be detrimental health effects for avoiding animal products. You're not gonna die if you don't touch an animal dong. Don't worry, you'll be okay, man, trust me.
The reason why zoophilia and bestiality laws exist is because people would be in court over having sex with an animal, and no one would be able to determine whether or not the animal was actually abused, which I don't think you should go to jail if there's no evidence whatsoever that the animal was being abused. Because if the animal wasn't abused, then you're not really helping anybody. You're just putting somebody in jail because you don't like them, because you think that what they're doing is gross and you don't understand them. Literally, the only thing that zoophilia and bestiality laws accomplish is to put people in jail who were not abusing animals but having sex with them.
Get this through your brain. There's no way to have sex with an animal and it not be abuse. This is coming very close to your pal Vosh and his stance on having sex with children.
It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well. That is possible.
Yeah, because every argument YMS is about to make can be attributed to children as well to justify pedophilia. Look at this fucking comment. Somebody asked, how can an animal provide meaningful consent to a human? To which YMS responds, in the same way an animal can provide meaningful consent to another animal. Most communication between animals is non-verbal. Have you ever seen America's Funniest Home Videos where a dog starts humping a human? Oh, this is a really strong argument. That is not consent, and the same thing applies to children. Children can't consent. We don't look for non-verbal cues to see if the child is consenting. No, they just can never consent. We can use this definition: a voluntary agreement to sexual activity by a person who has the legal freedom and capacity, key word, capacity to make such a choice. Animals, as of children, do not have the mental capacity to consent. Hence why, when someone touches a minor or an animal, we don't need to sit around and ask, well, did the child or the animal enjoy it? No, because it's always abuse. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's get into YMS's response. He starts off by inexplicably comparing breeding of animals to sexual activity because you're attracted to animals.
That many of our legal policies regarding this issue are not based on the welfare of the animal. So literally just animal breeders, and you can do that for fun. They opt to do it usually by jerking off the animal because it is less harmful for the animal than letting them do it themselves. Like, this is true. And so that same action, right? If somebody is doing it but has a different thought in their head, right? If their thought isn't, oh, I'm going to take this semen and force another animal to be pregnant because I think it's funny or whatever, and I just would like to play God. If that's not their thought, but their thought is instead, oh, this is hot or whatever, people believe that person should be in jail. Which, if you believe that, that's fine, right? But just admit that you want them to be in jail for a thought crime, right? You want them to be in jail because of what was happening in their brain, not because of the welfare of the animal, right?
Except it is also about animal welfare. If you're driving your car and you run over a child by accident, that's a lot different than if you did it intentionally. It's not a thought crime, it's about intention. It's not that the child's welfare isn't important, it's that your intent is also pertinent. If I work in Burger King and I accidentally leave the back door open and it gets robbed, I should probably be fired. If I left the back door open intentionally so my friends could come in and rob it, I should probably go to jail as an accomplice. Intent matters. It's not about thought crimes.
How is it possible for an animal to consent to a human being, right? Common knowledge in pop culture, like America's Funniest Home Videos, right? There'll be a clip of like, oh, a woman fell down a hill, and then the dog just starts humping her. And so my response is the dog not consenting to some sort of sexual act by their version of consent, not by my version of consent, which is informed consent.
It's not informed consent and it's not consent. Animals cannot consent. End of story. And come on, you don't get informed consent when you want to have sex with someone. You go to the club, you meet a girl or a guy, and they say they want to have sex. You don't whip out a pamphlet on STDs and make sure they're fully informed of the risks. And you shouldn't go to jail if that consenting adult somehow wasn't informed that you could get an STD through sex. But this is just another case of a left-winger not knowing what informed consent is.
Do you know what informed consent means in this context?
So now you're backtracking.
Well, just tell me, yes or no. Do you know what informed consent means?
Jesse,
No.
specifically.
Okay.
So
do you know what informed consent? Do you know what informed consent means? Because this is important to the point I'm trying to make.
We've already defined informed.
But whatever version of consent that animals have, which I would assume they have to be able to have, unless we're to say that every animal having sex with other animals is rape. Like two animals having sex with each other, that's not rape, right?
I think rape is simply different for humans than animals. Because rape between humans involves morality. For animals, we just see physical resistance, and that's all the definition is. Pretty much the key difference is consent between the human and animal definition of rape. We don't see two animals having sex and wonder, oh, I wonder if one of those animals is underage. That could be rape. Or have they had any alcohol? That could be rape. And that's why we don't put animals in jail for rape, because it's not the same thing. Anyway, I don't think YMS should be harassed or cancelled over this. And some of it is murky, so it makes for an interesting debate, but calm down on the whole animals can consent thing.